I'm Suzette Kroll, registered dietitian. I'm your personal nutrition guide. This month we're going to be talking about protein shakes. After surgery, it's all about protein, protein, protein. You will be on a high protein diet and you'll have a goal to eat 80 grams of protein every single day. You need this protein after surgery to promote healing, and you need to continue the high protein diet throughout the period where you'll lose the most of your weight, which is about a year or so after your surgery. We call this the honeymoon period. You need to sustain a high protein diet in that time to minimize muscle loss and hair loss. You'll start off by drinking liquid protein drinks or liquid protein shakes because you won't be able to eat enough food to get the 80 grams of protein that you need. And you'll continue on as you're able and start adding soft proteins like Greek yogurt and cottage cheese or ricotta cheese and tuna and possibly scrambled eggs. And eventually you'll be able to eat solid protein foods. But you have to use these liquid protein drinks until you can eat enough food to get the 80 grams of protein per day. So you'll probably be using these protein shakes for a good 2 or 3 months, probably or possibly longer. So it's important that you learn about them, know what your options are, and how to vary them so that you don't get bored. So your goal this month is going to be to try these protein shakes. You'll have 2 options. You can either use the ready-made products or start from scratch and make your own. One isn't better than the other. It's simply a matter of preference, and it's really a matter of choosing whether you want to spend your time or your money. It will cost a little more to pay for the convenience of the ready-made shakes, or you'll have to spend your time to make them on your own from scratch. These are a couple of examples of popular ready-to-drink products. The one on the left is the Premier Protein, and it comes in a variety of flavors: chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, banana, caramel, cookies and cream, and peaches and cream. And this one on the right is by Shamrock Farms. It's called Rockin' Protein Builder, and it comes in chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. Now, there is some criteria in selecting these drinks that you need to know about. First off, you need to look at the calories you're spending for the protein. We're trying to be cheap. We want the protein, but we don't want to spend too many calories. So the rule that we use is to look at the calories, look at the protein, and make sure the calories aren't more than 10 times the protein count. So here's an example of that Premier Protein we just looked at. There's 30 grams of protein in it and 160 calories. So 30 times 10 is 300. If our calories are not higher than 300, then this is good. And they're not, they're only 160, so we're good. Another criteria, second criteria, is that it needs to be low in sugar, ideally less than 5 or 10 grams. And here we only have 1 gram, so we're good. And finally, we want there to be more protein than the carbohydrates, significantly more protein than carbohydrate. So here we have 30 protein and only 4 carbohydrates. We're good. I get asked very often, is Slim Fast okay to use? So let's take a look. This is the original Slim Fast. There's 10 grams of protein and 180 calories. So by our math, this is not okay, right? Because 10 times 10 is 100, and the calories are much higher than 100. It's also high in sugar and high in carb, so it's just not good in every way. In keeping up with the times, Slim Fast has a higher protein product now. So let's look at this one. There's 20 grams of protein and 180 calories. So by our math, this one is okay. Times 10 here is 200. Our calories are lower than 200. So it's fine in the calorie department. It's fine in the sugar department. It's only 1 gram. And there's much more protein, 20 grams, than the carbohydrate, 6. So by the criteria, it's fine. However, keep in mind that you need 80 grams of protein per day. So you would have to drink 4 of these to get the 80 grams of protein down. And your stomach's going to be very small after surgery. You're going to be volume restricted, which means it's going to be hard to take in a lot of volume. So we probably want to pick protein drinks that are a bit higher in the protein count so we don't have to drink so many of them. These are a few examples. This one, the Core Power Elite, is 42 grams of protein. Muscle Milk, the one called Pro Series, is 40 grams of protein. and this one called Myoplex Shred is 42 grams of protein. So with any of these, you would only need to drink 2 of them in a day and you would hit your protein goal. Now you can boost the protein count of any ready-to-drink product that's a little bit lower so that you don't have to drink too many of them as well. So what I mean by this is the Premier that we saw in the beginning. I can add plain protein powder to it to boost the protein count. So this protein is called Syntrax Nectar. It's unflavored. There's no flavor, no sweetener in it. The office carries this protein product, and there's 10 grams of protein in each scoop. So if I start with 30 in my Premier, I drink a little bit out, so there's some room in there, and then I put a scoop of powder in there that's 10 grams. I come up with 40 grams then, and then I have to only drink 2 of these to hit my 80 grams per day. Get it? All right, if you don't like the ready-made or you just want to have better control over the outcome of the flavor and the texture, then you can make your own from scratch. You're gonna need some kind of shaker, cup, or blender. You'll need to select the protein powder and then decide on what liquid you're gonna mix the protein powder with. So let's take a look at these. First off, the protein powders. Whey protein is the most common protein that you're gonna see out there. And whey means milk. So whey protein powders are milk protein powders. Whey protein and whey isolate are a little bit different. Whey isolate means that the protein is lactose free. Think of it this way, the protein is isolated away from the lactose. So when you see that word isolate, whey isolate, it means it's lactose free. If you're lactose intolerant, obviously this is the only choice you should make between the 2 of these. However, it's very common to get lactose intolerant or possibly lactose sensitive after your surgery. So it's not a bad idea just to start off by using the whey isolate. It's considered the gold standard in nutrition, really. There are other kinds of protein powder out there: egg protein, soy protein, and pea protein. These are also food sources of protein. They're options if we need to go to them. I'd suggest starting off with the whey isolate, and then we can go to these if we need to. You can get protein powder at Walmart, Costco, Sam's Club, any grocery store or drugstore, and of course online. Amazon in particular has everything. You need to read the labels on these protein powders the same way that you read the labels on the ready-made products. Sometimes these labels are very deceptive. So this one's a great example. On the front here, it says there's 60 grams of ultra pure protein. If you're not careful to read the label, you might use 1 scoop of this and think that you're getting 60 grams of protein. But a closer look at the back label shows you 2 different serving sizes, 1 scoop or 2 scoop. For 1 scoop, there's 30 grams of protein. You'd have to use 2 scoops to get those 60 grams of protein. So just be careful and make sure you're noticing the portion sizes. Now, what are you going to mix this protein powder with? You're certainly not just going to eat the powder. So you have a number of options here. First, you could use these thinner beverages like water or any sugar-free non-carbonated beverage like Crystal Light or Powerade Zero, even unsweetened almond milk or decaf coffee. Any of these are fine, and none of them have protein. So if we mix protein powder, say with the water, the only protein count is going to be the protein count that's in the powder itself. So if we have water, a scoop of this powder, we have 30 grams of protein. Remember, the goal is 80, and remember you're going to be somewhat volume restricted. And if you only want to drink 2 drinks, then maybe you need to use more powder when you mix this. If you used another half of a scoop of powder, you'd pick up another 15 grams here. So you'd make the protein count a bit higher if you just use more powder. Now you'd also need to use more water to make it a little bit thinner, so keep that in mind. Another option is to mix with the beverage that has protein in it to begin with, it, like milk, this newer Fairlife milk. Greek yogurt is a good source of protein, and unsweetened soy milk can have protein too. The different brands vary quite a bit. The Fairlife milk has 13 grams of protein in it per 8 ounces. So if you mix it with that scoop of protein powder that has 30, if I have 13 in my milk, 30 in my powder, then I have 43 grams total, right? If I mix with the milk, just regular dairy milk, 8 ounces has 8 grams, and I add the powder, then I'd have 38 grams. So you can see you can play around with the math and you can adjust the math based on how much powder you use or based on what beverage you're mixing the powder with. There's not a right or wrong here. A lot of it is just preference. But remember, the ultimate goal is you have to have 80 grams of protein every single day. Get creative with these. They don't have to be boring. There's plenty of recipes online. Feel free to use our Tucson Bariatric Pinterest. We have a protein shake recipe board there with lots of recipes. This is an example of a creative recipe. It's a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup protein shake. You can see there's the chocolate whey protein powder in it, and it calls for reduced fat peanut butter, or PB2. So I just wanted to point this out in case you're not familiar with it. PB2 and PB Fit are 2 different brands of the same thing. They're powdered peanut butters, basically defatted, dehydrated peanuts made into powder, so you get the peanut butter flavor without the fat and calories, and you still get a little bit of protein. So this is a great product to use in any kind of protein shake. All right, so have fun with it this month. Enjoy trying new products. Enjoy trying new recipes. If you need further help this month with this goal, feel free to schedule an appointment to see me. I'm Suzette Kroll, registered dietitian. I'm your personal nutrition guide. Have a great month.